Alright, all you trash kickers, this is TBrown0065. Welcome back to another discussion episode. This is an important topic when it comes to big tech like YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, so on and so forth, okay? And the problem with these platforms is that they refuse. This is one of the problems associated with the platforms, is they refuse to answer your questions when it comes to, guidelines, okay? Like whenever you ask YouTube, for example, a question about like how your video got demonetized, age restricted, or removed, and when you ask them, they'll say like, oh, well, we're prohibited from discussing that matter with creators because we don't want creators to circumvent our policies, like this screenshot here. YouTube, I know what your intentions are, and I understand you don't want bad press surrounding your platform because you don't want advertisers to flee, but you realize that by not communicating with creators about what they did wrong, it's going to do more harm than good. Because, yeah, sure, you may keep your advertisers, but you want to know who you're not going to keep? Answer is the creators, okay? And your creators helped what build your platform, okay? Yeah, you may have built the infrastructure, but without the creators, well, guess what? Your platform will just die out. That's what would happen, okay? It would go out of business, and then what would you do? Okay, now why am I saying that? Well, the reason for that is because creators are more likely to repeat their mistakes because they don't know what they did wrong. And you know what happens as a result is eventually they're going to make enough mistakes to where they get terminated off the platform. Okay. And another thing is when you refuse to answer questions regarding your guidelines, whether it's ad suitability or community guidelines or whatever, okay? The problem with vague responses is that, like, what happens if you don't like what someone has to say about something? You'd end up shutting them down. You end up abusing the system, okay? So when YouTube refuses to answer your questions about, guidelines that you violated, you know what happens. Basically what they're implicitly saying is that if they don't like what you have to say about something, they will shut you down. Okay, they will ban your content or they'll ban your channel if you get enough violations. If they don't like what you have to say about something. Okay, if there's information that they don't want to hear that you're spewing out, which may be legitimate information, they will shut you down. That's what they would do. And that's why we as content creators are very frustrated with the way big tech handles content, the way they deal with creators, okay? And this is the problem I have with advertiser-driven platforms. All they care about is profit. And don't hand me fucking excuses like, oh, well, they're required by law to prioritize profit over people. No, don't hand me that fucking excuse. If that law does exist, okay, then in that instance, that law is meant to be broken. Now, why am I saying that? Well, the reason for that is because here's the thing. If profits are the only thing that you focus on, why not actually focus on something that'll, why not focus on, like, the consumers? Because the consumers are the ones that help you earn profits, okay? Profits are just a reward, okay? They're the rewards for engaging in good practices, okay? And when you refuse to answer questions about what guidelines that a creator may have violated, then that's shady practice. And because, with the community guidelines, ad suitability, the system, can be easily abused by the staff. Especially those damn libtards. okay? Libtards that work for the company, they're more likely to abuse the system, and what do you think is going to happen then? You know, creators are just going to go over to other places to upload videos. They're going to go over to websites like Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, DLive, Storyfire, so on and so forth. Even though DLive is more of like a live streaming platform, but you get my point. They're going to seek alternatives, and then what are you going to do? Yeah, sure, you'll still have advertisers, but you're not going to have any more content to place your ads in front of. And then what are you going to do? You're not going to be able to profit anyways. So yeah, you may keep your advertisers, but you're going to lose out on your creators. And that's just as bad as losing out on advertisers. So it's like, you know, you have to find a fair balance between advertisers and creators, okay? And why not, what I think advertisers should do is why not actually listen to the concerns from creators, okay? You know, why can't websites like YouTube, Facebook, etc., why can't they, you know, communicate their concerns from creators with advertisers, okay? And make the advertisers be more flexible when it comes to user-generated content, okay? Because if you do that, you know, it'll actually help make your platform better, okay? When it comes to alternative platforms, okay, we're seeing more people mirroring their content on the websites that I just mentioned, like Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. And I'd say it's beneficial that creators mirror their content, which actually I think is important, because it'll actually put pressure on the mainstream platforms to do stuff for the better for creators. Okay? And what happens is that if the platforms don't change for the better, well, guess what? Creators are just going to go over to alternative platforms to post content, and then the big tech would end up dying out. Okay? They would die out, and they become irrelevant, and then eventually they go out of business. Okay? And, you know, competition is what helps keep things going, you know. And without competition, you know, the platforms would not be incentivized into doing things for the better. And then what do you think is going to happen then? So, yeah, as I said before, if I did not mention it already, don't hand me fucking excuses like, well, they're required by law to put profits over consumers. Don't hand me that excuse, because, again, profits are just a reward. Consumers are what helps the platforms, like the ones who, like, for example, content creators, okay? They're the ones that help generate revenue for the platform, okay? Because there's content where they could play, the platform could place their ads in front of, and the ads are what helps keep the platform going. And without the content, there is no ad revenue, and therefore the platform dies out. It goes out of business, and that's the shit that you don't want, okay? So, to the mainstream platforms out there, that's something I want to address to you. Copyright abuse, when it comes to copyright abuse, I mean, that's a problem too. You know, we've seen people get false copyright strikes. You know, like if, say, for example, if, you know, like if you're a copyright owner and someone is using your work for journalistic purposes, and when you strike down someone's content just because you don't like what they said about your work, yeah, that's abusing the copyright system, okay? Because you know journalism falls under fair use, okay? And when you're in the entertainment industry, you have to learn to accept criticism, okay? You know, I mean, think about journalists, okay? We need journalists in the movie industry, gaming industry, etc., okay? Their job is to criticize, okay? That's what they're getting paid to do, okay? So when you silence people for their criticism, well, guess what? You're preventing them from doing what they're required to do. And, yeah, and when you don't listen to people's criticism, well, guess what? You're not going to make your work better, and then people are just going to stop consuming your work altogether. And then what do you think is going to happen? It's going to make you become irrelevant. It's going to cause your business to fail, and then what are you going to do? At that point, there's no saving you. So yeah, you have to learn to accept criticism. And when it comes to public figures, I may have talked about it in some of my previous discussion videos that, when you're a public figure, you have to learn to take criticism, okay? And criticism is not harassment, okay? If someone is making satire of you, okay, that is not considered harassment, okay? That is not harassment, okay? Harassment would be like, for example, wishing death on someone, or, you can. There's a number of examples you can think of. Doxing, especially if you dox someone, like if you put out their address, phone number. That's definitely harassment, because at that point you're putting someone's life in danger. But as I said before, when you're a public figure, now look, you should not condone, harassment, like if someone's putting out your information, but you do have to learn how to accept criticism, okay? If someone is talking about you and calls you out for something unacceptable, then you deserve to be called out. You deserve to be criticized for it, okay? That's how the industry is. You're gonna be criticized, and if you don't like it, then in that instance, you're in the wrong field. So, all I can say is that, when it comes to vague policies on social media platforms, the reason why I'm against having vague policies in place is because, I know what they'll do is, again, like I said, they're going to make an excuse saying, oh, well, we don't want people to circumvent our policies. Well, yeah, and you're also going to prevent them from thriving on your platform, because, again, like I said, the vague policies could be easily abused by bad actors within the company, and that's the stuff that I'm against. So, anyways, this is TBrown0065. If you enjoyed this discussion, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you subscribe for more awesome content. As always, thank you for watching. I hope that all of you have a good one.